Chuck Stadler was born and raised in Metro Detroit. He's a married father of two who wears many hats as a licensed practical nurse, contractor, and accountant. But now he's hoping to add congressmen to that list.
So many years we've been taking care of the rest of the world, and we've grown a big deficit. And I find out we don't have unlimited pockets, to take care of the rest of the world. And if we're going to be strong for the world, we're going to have to start taking care of our own country. I mean, we've lost so many jobs here. I mean, it's just getting to the point where a person cannot count on a living anymore. I mean, and every time in Congress, they're always doing a partisanship. I mean, they don't even get along no more. But now it's kind of like, they put a wall between them, and then you want this idea, and you have this idea, and nobody wants to take care of the people. And I figure that if you're going to be elected to office, you got to take care of all the people. You represent the whole district. Stadler
says his first priority is to help create jobs.
We've had these Bush tax cuts for many years, and we've created over $300 billion. That was actually part of our $16.3 billion deficit, is we're giving all this money to the rich people, and then they don't create the jobs. They help send the jobs overseas. And it seems like, Paul Ryan, Mitt Romney he's sent jobs overseas. I have an idea about tax breaks. I mean, if you hire a person and they work full-time for a year, you get a $2,000 tax credit. If they work 2 to 5 years, they get a $1,000 tax credit. If they over 6 years, they get a $1,500 tax credit. And that's to encourage long-term employment. I mean, and that actually helps them recover some of their costs of training people.
Saving Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid are other key issues for Stadler.
For one thing, we need to start paying back Social Security. I mean, we do have a deficit, but if the hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars we send overseas, fighting wars and stuff like that, we can start using that for our economy, to build our economy. I mean, if you give back $100 billion a year, for 10 years, you've paid back the $1 trillion of the Social Security as short funds. If you give, say, $50 billion a year for 10 years, that's given $500 billion back in the fund. That makes those things more solvent, because you know what? We all pay these taxes now, and now if we send jobs overseas, they don't pay us taxes. I mean, maybe some of these corporations that want to be overseas, maybe they should become Chinese citizens. Well, of course, they might have to fight for the rights in Tiananmen Square, but, they have the freedoms here, and I think you should be more patriotic to this country. I mean, there's nothing wrong with investing overseas. Companies like to make money and everything, and I don't blame them, but the idea is when you send 15% of our manufacturing jobs overseas, it's getting to the point where, where's our jobs? I mean, we can't afford to take care of everybody else and ourselves. And like I said, we don't have unlimited deep pockets.
Stadler says as the deficit keeps getting worse, it's more important than ever to support farmers.
We can't give up on the farmer. We can't afford the farmer to go out of business, because they feed our country. I mean, everybody can't grow their food in their back garden. So farmers, okay, we do need to have subsidies, and it's getting to the point where since we have droughts, and floods, everything. I mean, you get to a point where out in Minnesota a few years ago, a bridge went under. Some of those bridges are 50, 80 years old. Farmers might have to start, doing irrigation systems. They may have to have still have subsidies to keep them afloat, because next year they're talking about food prices going up, 3 to 5% in meat and products and other foods, and we can't afford not to have the farmer to go under.
His opponent in this 10th district congressional race is incumbent Candace Miller. Stadler says he is the right person to work on both sides of the aisle.
People have to get along. I mean, Congress, the highest ever heard rating of Congress was like 29 and 30%. Now it's anywhere from 8 to 15%, because they're not really reaching across the aisle and saying they need to cooperate, to pass bills that would help this country. I mean, if you're lucky if you get a bill that's 70% good. I mean, but if you can't get no bills passed because you wouldn't say, well, I want to make Barack Obama look bad or other Democrats look bad. Well, we just won't do nothing. I mean, there's a job bill back in September 2011 that hasn't been passed, and you look at the farm bill, it's still hanging on. I want to convince people to take care of this country and make it made in America like it used to be.
Anu Prakash, 7 Action News.
And make sure you check our website later tonight for our stories on the race for Michigan's 10th Congressional District. You will find both of our reports on Chuck Stadler and Candace Miller, which aired last night here on Action News, on the site WXYZ.com.